For this lab, we built rocket ships that focused on Newton's 3 laws of motion: inertia, acceleration, and interacting forces. For this experiment, I took a 20-ounce water bottle and filled the bottom of it with vinegar. I then took about a spoonful of baking soda and dumped it into the bottle of vinegar, which created a pressure that would launch the rocket into the air for a short period of time. This first law of motion states that objects that rest or motion will tend to stay at rest or in motion until acted on by an outside force. In this case, the outside force would be the vinegar and the baking soda, which create a pressure that then build up and act as the force that moves the water bottle that is at rest. Newton's second law of motion talks about how force equals mass times acceleration. In this case, by increasing the force and the mass that the rocket has, it should have increased the acceleration of the rocket. This was not the case in my experiment because my water bottle kept tipping over, but I think that changes to how tight the cork was placed in could have showed that the more mass that was in the bottle, it would have shot the rocket in the air farther. And the third law that states that for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. In this case, my cork would have caused the opposite reaction. So as the pressure pushes the cork towards the ground, my rocket launches into the air. Alright, now on this last slide, I have my average times for both of my trials. So my average time for the first 4 trials was 1.73 seconds, and my average time for the second trials with the changes made to my rocket was 1.58 seconds. Again, like I said before, I think that my rocket spent less time in the air because the cork was either placed in either too tightly or it was uneven, because a lot of times what would happen was the rocket would tip over and then go off instead of shooting up in the air. But when it did tip over and go off, it would travel quite a ways on the ground, which leads me to believe that by adding more mass into the bottle, this would cause the rocket to spend more time in the air than it did with the smaller amount of baking soda.